Welcome, class 11. Here I am going to proceed for the next part of chapter 3rd, Ranga's marriage. Let's see what planning the narrator had made for arranging the marriage of an educated village boy Ranga with Ratna. Let's see. Since I was a frequent visitor to Ramaro's place, the girl was quite free with me. I completely forgot to mention her name. Ratna it was. The very next morning, I went to their house and told Ramaro's wife, I will send some buttermilk for you. Ask Ratna to fetch it. As the narrator had determined that he would get married, this most suitable boy of the village with the most prettiest girl of the world. So he started now implementing upon his plan. So here it is first informed that the narrator was quite familiar with Ratna, as he was usually visiting his friend Ramarao's house. Here he mentioned the name of the girl, that is Ratna. First of all, he now thought of a plan to make introduction between Ranga and Ratna. So for this, he thought of a plan. He informed Ramara's wife that he was going to send the buttermilk for the family, but they had to send only Ratna to fetch it. Ratna came. It was a Friday, so she was wearing a grand sari. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song. I sent for Ranga while she was singing the song Krishna Murti in front of my eyes. Ranga reached the door. He stopped at the threshold. Threshold means a strip of wood or stone forming the bottom of a doorway. As the next day was Friday, and according to the narrator's plan, Ratna came to the narrator's house. All she was dressed up in a grand sari. The narrator told her to sit and insisted her to sing some song. And then he implemented on his plan and sent someone to call the boy Ranga to his house. Just the girl started the song in the praise of Lord Krishna. Ranga reached there. The girl's voice was so melodious that he stopped at the threshold. He did not want the singing to stop, but was curious to see the singer. Carefully, he peeped in. The light coming into the room was blocked. Ratna looked up and seeing a stranger there, abruptly stopped. Here the narrator tries to create the humor in the story. He compares Ranga's situation to the disappointment of a man who purchased the best quality mango from the market. He wanted to enjoy each part of this delicious fruit. That's why he was also relishing the outer skin of the mango. But just he was going to reach the juicy part of the mango just slipped from his hand and fell down on the ground. So the same happened with the boy Ranga. He was just going to see the face of the girl, but he was disappointed as the girl stopped the singing. So his chance had been lost to see the glance at the girl. You sent for me? He asked as he came in and sat on a chair. Then he inquired from the narrator and came inside that why he was called by him. Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. Once our eyes met and he looked very embarrassed. No one spoke for a long while. It was my coming in that stopped the singing. Let me leave. Glance, that means to have a quick look. Embarrassed, that means to feel awkward or ashamed. While Ranga was asking the narrator for the reason of being called, Ratna was also standing there at the distance. As she was of shy nature, her eyes were looking downward, whereas Ranga was stealthily looking at the girl. One, the narrator also noticed Ranga's glancing at the girl. The boy felt ashamed and awkward. Then there was a silence. Now, noticing the things were going a bit awkward over there, the boy said he feels that it was his coming that had stopped the singing, so he must have to leave. Words, mere words, the fellow said he would leave but did not make a move. How can one expect words to match actions in these days of Kali Yuga? Here again the narrator makes fun of the boy. He said he merely speak the words that he was going, but he was still stuck over there. He was not moving. So he makes fun of Ranga by saying it seems that he did not have any intention of going away. So he again jokes about the boy and says that how one can expect action and words are not matching in the times of Kali Yuga. Hence, the narrator jokes about the boy and says that how you can expect that the actions and the words of someone is not matching in the present time. That means everyone has turned to be very smart in the present time. They knew the ways and the tacts how to hide the inner feeling. So the actions and the words always match. But here the situation was quite different. The boy was saying he was going, but he was still stuck over there. Ratna ran inside, overcome by shyness. After a while, Ranga asked, "Who is that girl, Swami? Who is that inside?" The lion wanted to know. The he god who had taken shelter in the temple replied, "Does it matter who I am? I am a poor animal who has already eaten 9 lions. I'd vote to eat one more. Tell me, are you male or female?" The lion fled the place in fear, it seems. Shyness, that means nervousness. Woe, that means to take a pledge or oath. Now, being noticed by the boy, the girl felt nervous and went inside. Then, after some time, Ranga finally asked the narrator about the girl. Now, at this time, the narrator compares the situation with the infamous story of the he goat and the lion, where he is the he goat and Ranga the lion. Once again, he created the fun in the story and says that, fearing of the lion, the he god, he took shelter inside the temple. And the lion also chased him and reached there. He was unaware that the he god was inside, hiding over there. He inquired who was inside the temple. At this, he got replied that he was one helpless animal who had already eaten the 9 lions but has taken the oath to eat one more lion, and asked with full strength to the lion, "Are you male or female?" On hearing the threat of the he god, the lion got afraid and fled away. He thought there was hiding inside some very dangerous animal. Like the he god, I said, what does it matter to either of us who she is? I'm already married and you are not marrying kind. Hence, the narrator also replied here very cleverly. He wants to check the intention of Ranga about this girl, Ratna. Otherwise, the narrator has intention of knowing the interest of Ranga for this girl, Ratna. That's why he replied that it doesn't matter to them who the girl was, as he said he himself was already married, and the boy Ranga, he doesn't have any intention to get married. So, what is the use of asking such silly questions? Very hopefully he asked, "She is not married then?" His voice did not betray his excitement, but I knew it was there. She was married a year ago. His face shivered like a roasted brinjal. After a while, Ranga left saying, "I must go. I work at home." Betray here means reveal or show. Shriveled, that means shrunken and wrinkled, especially as a result of loss of moisture. Roasted stands for cooked in oven or over a fire. On hearing the narrator's reply, Ranga got excited, though he did not make show of his clear intention. Very hopefully, he asked the narrator if the girl was not married yet. He replied that most probably the girl was married a year ago. Thus Ranga got disappointed and disheartened. It was all clear from his face. He was not happy. His face suddenly shriveled like the roasted brinjal. And then, after staying for a short while, he left the place by saying that he had some urgent work and that's why he was going. I went to our Shastri the next morning and told him, "Keep everything ready to read the stars. I will come later." I tutored him in all that I wanted him to say. Shastriji means astrologer, tutored means taught. Hence, in the morning, the narrator further worked on his plan to create the interest of Ranga for Ratna. He went into the house of the village astrologer and taught him that he had to calculate the stars of the boy Ranga when he would bring him to his house and had to tell what the narrator wanted him to reply to the boy. I found no change in Ranga when I met him that afternoon. "What is the matter? You seem to be lost in thought." I said, Nothing is wrong. Believe me, headache. Come, let's go and see a doctor." Then he met Ranga that afternoon and again he found the same disappointment on the face of the boy. To find Ranga disturbed, the narrator inquired, "What was the matter?" He replied, "Nothing." But again he asked him if there was a headache, then they had to consult the doctor. "I have no headache. I'm very usual self. I went through the same thing when the process of choosing a girl for me was going on, but I don't think that could be a reason for your present condition." Ranga stared at me. Stare means gaze. Then, on the insistence of the narrator, Ranga replies that everything was fine. He did not have any headache. He was in his normal self. To this, the narrator very smartly makes the remark that he also went through the same feelings when the process of looking for the girls for himself was going on, and then immediately mentions that it could not be the reason for Ranga, as he was not in the mood and hurry to get married. Now, to get this answer, Ranga started gazing at the narrator. "Come, let's go and see Shastri," I suggested. "We will find out whether Guru and Shani are favorable for you or not." Hence, sympathizing on the condition of the boy, the narrator suggested that to meet the village astrologer so that he should tell whether the stars of the boy are in favor or not. Children, as you know, Indian people believe in astrology. The misfortunes, these come in the life due to the movement and direction of the planets. So the same, the narrator suggested. The reason of the sadness of the boy would be the direction of his stars. Ranga accompanied me without any protest. As soon as Shastri saw me, he exclaimed, "What a surprise! Shama, haven't seen you for a long time." Here he comments, just like we keep the food grains under the sun to get them dry. But due to the overheat, they start bursting. So, same was going to happen here. In his overexcitement, he forgot about his own plan and was going to disclose by himself over there. Then he decided now onward he would take extra care about the situation and about his speech. Shastri turned to Ranga. When did the young son of an accountant clerk come home? What can I do for him? It's very rarely that visits us. Then, once again, Shastri continued his role very smartly. On seeing the boy Ranga, he inquired, when did this boy come back from the big city? And what he could do for this boy? It was very rarely he used to visit the astrologer. He was surprised to see this educated boy in his house. Take out your paraphernalia. Our Rangappa seems to have something on his mind. Can you tell us what is worrying him? Shall we put the science of astrology to the test? Paraphernalia are the tools required for every trade. Here, the narrator suggests the Shastri to bring all his tools to find and solve the problem of the boy Rangappa. He said that something is disturbing the mind of Rangappa and he has to make the calculation and tell what is bothering this boy Rangappa. And today was the test of his learning of astrology science. So he has to tell the truth. There was the authority in my voice as I spoke to Shastri. He took out 2 sheets of paper, some cowries, and book of Palmyra leaves, saying, "Ours is an ancient science. Yeah, there is a story to it, but I won't tell you that story now. This is not a Harikatha, which allows you to tell a story within a story. You may get bored. I will tell it to you some other time." Cowries, that stands for highly polished seashells used for calculation. Palmyra, that stands for palm leaves. Ayya, this term is used as a respect for the elderly people. Harikatha, that means the story of Lord Ram. Hence, in a very commanding tone, the narrator asks the astrologer to bring out his paraphernalia to make the calculation of the stars of the boy Ranga. So, Shastri brought the 2 sheets of paper, some cowries, and a book of Palmyra. Then he started praising the importance of astrology science. He says that it is quite long and ancient science, not interesting one, like Ramayana, from where there comes out story within story. This is quite lengthy and boring tale. So he would share it some other day, as they could get bored. Shastri moved his lips fast as he counted on his fingers and then asked, "What is your star?" Ranga did not know. "Never mind," Shastri indicated with a shake of his head. He did some more calculation before saying in a serious tone, "It is about a girl." Then Shastri started counting very quickly on his fingers. His lips were also moving fast. And then he asked Ranga about his birth sign. But the boy did not know any. To this, Shastri implied that it is manageable. Then he again started doing the certain calculations. After some time, he indicated that the matter was about some girl. The boy was thinking, He said this in a very serious tone. I had been controlling my laughter all this while, but now I burst out laughing. I turned to Ranga. Exactly what I had said. Who is the girl? It was your humble servant who asked the question. Shastri thought for a while. Before replying, she probably has the name of something found in the ocean. Kamla, maybe. At this moment, the narrator was trying to control his laughter as everything was just going according to his own plan. Then he turned to Ranga and said the same he was saying. The matter would be about some girl. Then the narrator asked to Ranga, who was the girl? The narrator made the pose before the Shastri to know the details about the girl. At this, Shastri thought and finally replied, the girl is likely to have a name of something that is found in the ocean. He guessed that the name could be Kamla or something. Could it be Paki? Moss? Must it be moss? If it is not Kamla, why not pearl or Ratna, the precious stone? Paki is the vegetation found in the ocean. He started calling the names of the things which are found in the ocean, which normally the girls have, like Paki, moss, Kamla, pearl, and finally they came out the name Ratna, that is a precious stone, from his mouth. At this, the narrator reminded, same is the name of the girl who had been there in his friend's house. He inquired if he would start the negotiation about the marriage, whether it would get success or not. After thinking for a while, Shastri replied, yes, it would be. Ranga was both surprised and happy to know the prediction of the Shastri that were exactly right. He immediately became then disappointed when again the narrator reminded that the girl who had been in his friend Ramara's house, she had been already married. Then how it would be possible about the marriage? After saying this, suddenly the narrator noticed the look of the boy. He got again disappointed by thinking that the marriage won't be possible. I don't know all that. There may be some other girl who is suitable. I only told you what our Shastra indicated, Shastri said. At this, Shastri replied that he didn't know about all that. There might be another suitable girl with the same name. Now, working upon his plan and to make it more real, Shastri interfered and told whatever he had said, it was according to his reading of the stars of the boy Ranga. He left the place. On the way, we passed by Ramarav's house. Ratna was standing at the door. I went in alone and came out a minute later. Then both of them left the place together. And on the way back, they again crossed Ramarav's door. And there Ratna was standing at the door. But the narrator himself went inside without taking the boy and came back within a minute. Surprising, this girl is not married. It seems someone told me the other day that she was. What Shastri told us has turned out to be true after all. But Rangappa, I can't believe that you have been thinking of her. Swear on the name of Madhvacharya and tell me, is it true what Shastri said? Madhvacharya is the name of renowned philosopher and the exponent of Vedantic philosophy in the South India. Hence, when the narrator returned back from Ramara's house, he surprisingly informed that Ratna was not married. He felt sorry. That day, somebody might have conveyed him the wrong status of the girl. But he was surprised to the fact that Ranga would be thinking about this girl. He inquired that he should take the oath of the Lord Madhvacharya and speak the truth. I don't know whether anyone else would have been direct. Ranga admitted there is greater truth in that Shastra than we imagine. What he said is absolutely true. To his great surprise, Ranga admitted whatever the astrologer had predicted, that was true. He was really thinking about Ratna. And he also admitted that his belief in Shastras had now got strengthened due to this whole prediction about his life. Shastri was at well when I went there that evening. I said, "So, Shastri Gale, you repeated everything I taught you without giving rise to any suspicion. What a marvelous Shastri yours is." He did not like it at all. Suspicion, that means doubt. Marvelous, that means extraordinary or excellent. Here it is said, in the same evening, the narrator Shama went to see Shastriji. There, at first, he admired Shastri for his astrology science and the skills. He said whatever he had taught Shastri, he had done the same. So he appreciated the astrologer and his knowledge. Praising him, he said that he did so well that it did not create any doubt in the mind of the boy Ranga. But it seemed Shastriji did not seem to like what the narrator was saying. "What are you saying? What you said to me was what I could have found out myself from the Shastra. Don't forget, I developed on the hints you had given me. Tell me, is this what a decent man says?" Thus, Shastri got irritated and he remarked that he had not told what the narrator tutored him, but he had developed on the hints given by him and then made the prediction about the fate of the boy Ranga. He wanted to give credit about this prediction to his astrology science. Here, once again, the narrator created the humor and said what the readers think, whether the decent persons like Shastriji had to behave like this. That means he did not have to tell a lie, as he did what he had taught him. Rangappa had come the other day to invite me for the dinner. "What is the occasion?" I asked. "It is Shama's birthday. He is 3. It's not a nice name." "Shama," I said, "I am like a dark piece of oil cake. Why did you give that golden child of yours such a name? What a childish couple you are, Ratna and you." Now, the narrator takes the readers a few years ahead, where Ranga and Ratna are happily married, and now they had a 3-year-old son. So he had come to invite the narrator for the 3rd birthday ceremony of his son. Then he commented why Ranga and Ratna had given his name Shama to their beautiful child, as he did not appear to be good. His complexion was as dark and black, just like some oil cake. Really, both of them are immature couple. Have a look of the oil cake with whom the narrator compared himself. I know. It is the English custom of naming the child after someone you like. Your wife is 8 months pregnant now. Who is there to help your mother to cook? My sister has come with her. I went there for dinner. Shama rushed to me when I walked in and put his arms around my legs. I kissed him on his cheek and placed a ring on his tiny little finger. Custom means tradition. Tiny, that means very small. However, the narrator approved this fact too, that it was the English custom to name the child after the person you like the most in your life. That's why they had given this name to their beautiful child. Then Ranga informed the narrator that his wife is again pregnant, and this time his sister had come to help and support the lady at her home. Then the narrator went there for the dinner. The little boy, Shama, rushed towards him and put his arm around his legs to show his love for the narrator. The narrator also kissed the boy on his cheek and presented him a beautiful ring on his small little finger. Allow me to take leave of you, reader. I'm always here, ready to serve you. You were not bored, I hope. Hence, after attending the program, the narrator asked the permission from the readers that he was leaving now, and he said whenever they would like to visit his place, he would be always there to serve them. Finally, he ended the story hoping that everyone would have liked the simple but interesting story about a village boy, Ranga, with Ratna, who did not want to get married at the early age. But the narrator manipulated and changed the mind of Ranga and got him married with this beautiful girl Ratna. I hope you have all well understood the explanation. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you have well understood up to this part. Thank you for watching the video.